At the first season of The Apprentice, you probably saw this young man here to my right on here, and his name is Kwame Jackson. He was actually the runner-up on the first Apprentice.
Yes, sir.
And how has life been treating you since those days?
It's been busy, busy, busy. You know, I always tell people The Apprentice doesn't guarantee you a check. There are no things that come from Donald Trump, pennies from heaven. You got to get out here and hustle and build a business as an entrepreneur like everyone else. And so since then, I've been working on my brand, Crimson by Kwame.
Okay, so tell us what made you decide to get into the tie business, because this is what you really launched your company with.
Correct. So after The Apprentice, you know, we had 40 million viewers on our final episode, which was only second to the Oscars and to the Super Bowl. And so a lot of people saw the show and they liked the shirts and ties I was wearing on the first episode and throughout the season. And so I said, there's an opportunity here for a young professional brand that really speaks to global professionals who are well-traveled, who are well-heeled in terms of style. And I thought, hey, this is a chance for me to come out with my own brand. So, you know, you look for that opportunity and you try to address that pain with a business.
Now, when you were going through The Apprentice, were you thinking along those lines, like, well, in the event that if The Apprentice doesn't work, I need to have a B plan? Well, I mean, were you already thinking along those lines?
I definitely,
were you multitasking?
Yeah, I definitely went on The Apprentice with the spirit of an entrepreneur, really to, excuse me, to showcase myself as an entrepreneur. However, as you know, you're my fraternity brother, and you know, I wanted to look good like we try to do in our fraternity, and so I wanted to put my suits and ties together well. And you know, I had experience working on Wall Street. I had worked at Procter & Gamble, so I knew a lot about professional style, and I definitely wanted to present myself in the best way possible, knowing that I was going to be in the boardroom like everybody else.
Right. Now, if you had to explain your tie line, and would like for you to so, you know, how do you come up with the color patterns, the concepts, the designs? Tell me where it comes from.
Well, I had the luck of having a great partner. His name is Corwin Thomas, and he's my chief designer. So we go back and forth on colors, on textures, and on patterns, and we'll suggest ideas and colors to each other. And so it's a real working collaboration. So sometimes it's one of those things where he'll suggest something to me, and I say, that's never going to sell, and it winds up being our bestseller, and I'll do the same. So it's good to have that kind of working collaborator and sounding board as you go along. Now, all the ties are named after different cities and inspired by different cities, as well as, you know, obviously we do seasonal colors. So essentially, you know, our ties tend to be a little bit bolder, a little richer, a little longer, and our colors, especially here in Dillard's, we're adding a lot of kind of pomps and circumstance and splash to this section. So we're really excited about what we're doing with Crimson.
All right. Now, some of the other things that have happened with you since we last talked, because 2 years ago, I think you were in Louisville, and you actually had your ties at the 100 event.
Yep.
And you were talking about we're trying to expand, we're trying to get into some other locations. So since then, some big things have happened.
Great things have happened.
So share that with our audience.
Yeah, we've had great success, and it's been a blessing, you know, in terms of just working hard and obviously having the favor of God to help us out. Sure. And what has happened is essentially we started out in one retailer, which was Belk, our first retailer, small southeastern chain, and then we picked up Macy's department stores, and then from there we picked up Dillard's this year, which has been our best partner. We've grown from just simply 10 Dillard's to start initially, and within 7 months we're going to be at almost 100 Dillard's nationwide. So we're very excited about that. And then lastly, we're launching a value line called KBK at JCPenney's right now. So we're in 4 national retailers, we're in markets from coast to coast, and we're out here on the road meeting people here in Louisville, explaining our brand to customers, and just building it one neck at a time like any other entrepreneur, whether it was Ralph Lauren who started in just ties, or Kenneth Cole who started selling shoes out of his van. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, one city at a time, building customer relationships, and very proud to share our brand.
Now, as your brand continues to grow, do you see yourself diversifying and getting into maybe suits or other accessories?
Yeah, we want it to go as far as it can. Like I said, Ralph Lauren started in just ties, and we know that he sells paint now and bedding and all kinds of great things. And so really the goal is to have a brand, an umbrella with Crimson, and to create a lifestyle experience that people can really associate with. We have a motto, which is when it's important, it's Crimson. So it's not just about the tie business and people wearing a red tie and a white shirt and a blue suit. We're really in the lifestyle brand experience business. So we want people to have what we call an executive neckwear mentality, which is when I put this tie on, I'm going to have an executive experience. I'm here to make things happen that day. I'm here to propose to my girlfriend. I'm here to sign that big contract. I'm going to get that promotion. And so that's the mentality we want people to have with Crimson in all the products that we sell. So we're going to move from ties to other accessories like pocket squares we're going to try to launch in the spring, fragrance, cufflinks, really move out into the accessory space, and then on into suits and shirts.
You know, when you look at men's fashion, it's kind of really evolved, and when you're looking around the marketplace, you see people, you see from one extreme to the other. Where do you see men fashion going as we look 2011? Anything radical happening?
Yeah, I think that, you know, there's been a return of the gentleman in men's fashion. You know, people have pulled up their pants and changed in, you know, a lot of the baggy stuff for you know, a much more tapered look, that madman look. Some of the ties have become a little thinner. We've gone with crimson a little thinner on our ties because people want to show off kind of a more leaner physique and that elegant return of kind of the James Bond man. So we're very excited about that. And then the fact that I think that with men's fashion in particular, people are returning to dressing up. A lot of that has to do with the economy. People having to get job interviews, and that's where really Crimson has really helped people out and kind of land that first job. We get emails from our clients or Facebook messages that say, I put on your tie and I had the interview and I got the job, and that's the best feeling in the world because that reinforces what we talked about. When it's important is Crimson. Another one of our fraternity brothers who was the youngest mayor in the history of Washington, D.C., Adrian Fenty, he got the mayor's office at age 35. He wore a tie when he addressed the U.S. Supreme Court. And so we said, hey, you know, that's the definition of when it's important. The day you go in to talk to the Supreme Court, you're wearing crimson. And so that's the mentality we want, and we want people to continue to have that going forward into 2011 with men's fashion.
Well, Kwame, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break and back with more of Urban Lifestyles right after this.